Hi guys, and welcome back to my channel. Today we'll be looking at how to create this simple awesome accordion using only HTML and CSS. And this accordion is acting like any other accordion. Once you click on it, it's going to open and it will display minus in front of the title. If you find my video helpful, don't forget to subscribe to my channel, turn on the notification bell, and share this video. So let's get started. So first, I have my HTML and CSS file here, and I have the basic HTML structures, and I have my title, and I also have my external CSS linked. And in my external CSS, I have reset the margin padding, and I have set my box size into border box. So let's get started. So first, I need a div, and I'm going to give it a class of accordion, and in it, I'll have a UL, and in the UL, I'm going to have an LI. So I'm going to be using list item to get all the information you're seeing on the screen there. So inside this LI, I'm going to have an input with a type of radio, and I'll give it a name of accordion. And after that, I'm going to give it an ID. I'll call the first one 1. The second one is going to be 2. So I'll give it a class of radio sign. Okay. And after that, I'll need a label. And for this label, it's going to have the same ID with the ID of the input. So I'm going to call this one first item. And after that, I'll have a div with a class name of contents. And inside this content, I'm going to have a paragraph text with some text. Okay. So this is what we have done. Let's preview it. You can see this is how it looks like. So next, let's go to our CSS and try to work on the body. In the body there, I'm going to change my font to family. And I'll give it sans serifs. After that, I'm going to display everything there to flex. I'll justify the content center, and I'll also align the item centers. Once that is done, let's give it a height of 100 VH. Okay, that will centralize everything. So back there, let's start starting with the accordion. So for the accordion, I'm going to give it a width of 600 pixels. That's the only thing I want to do there. You can see it's now in the center of the page. So back here, I'm going to be styling the list item. So I'm going to call it from the accordion class, the UL, and the list item, which is LI. I'm going to display this. I'm going to cancel the list type. So I'll call it none. And after that, I'm going to give it a margin of 20 pixels and also a padding of 10 pixels. Next, I'll give it a background color of white, which is the same thing with the background of the body. You can see this is what we have now. So to see this, I'm going to give it a shadow so that we can see the area of that box. So box shadow, and I will define the box shadow for the bottom and the right corner. So 2 pixels, and 5 pixel border radius, block radius. So I'm going to define an RGB there. You can see we have that awesome shadow. So to have the one to the top and to the left corner, I'm going to copy the same thing, and all I need to do is to add a minus in front of the X and the Y axis. Once that is done, you can see we now have this nice looking box on our screen. So next, let's go there and continue. And we're going to be working on the radio now. I don't want the radio sign to show, so I give it a class of radio sign. So I'm going to call the accordion class. And inside the accordion class, I'll call the UL and the LI. And I'm targeting the input there, which I give it a class of radio sign. If you don't know that I call it radio sign, let's go back and check. You can see that I call it radio sign, I give it a class. So I'm going to display it to none because I don't want it to show. Yeah, that is it. So next, we'll be styling the label. You can see we have the label in the accordion. So I'm going to call the general class there, which is the parent class. Call it accordion and the label. So for this label, I'm going to give it a padding of 10 pixels. And also I'm going to give it a font size of 19 pixels. I'll give it a font weight of bold. Okay, so let me give my li a width of 100%. So back here, I'm going to display this label as flares, and I'll align the item center so that the padding can work perfectly. You can see there, we have it on its own. So back, let's go and start styling the content. So for the content, so let me call the accordion and the content class. And in here, we'll be working with how we want the text to show. First, I'm going to change the color of the text there to somehow gray, not that dark. Okay. And next, I'm going to give it a font, a line height of 25 pixels. You can see that. Okay, next I would like to justify that text. So I'm going to say the text align, and I'm going to justify it. Yeah, that is what I want to do there. Okay, so next I'll be giving it a padding of 0 pixel top bottom and 10 pixel left and right. You can see that. Okay, so let's go back. And next, I need an icon to come before the label tag there. So we're going to call the label. And before the label, I want to add a plus icon. So the content there is going to be plus. So in a single quote, we put plus. Next, I would like to give that content some font size of 25 pixels. And also, I would like to give it a font weight of bold. And I'll also give it a margin right of 10 pixels so that there can be space between it and the main content. You can see that we have the plus icon right before the label there. So next, let me go to my label and change it to cursor, the cursor to pointer, You can see that. Okay, next, I'm going to create the copy of this down. So let's copy it down. The second one, I'm going to give it an ID of 2, and I'll change the label to second. So I'm still going to copy that down. And I'll call the ID 3, and I'll change the label to third. And I'm still going to copy it down, and I'll give it an ID. I'll give it an ID of 4, and then the 4 is going to be 4, and it will be called 4th. So let me change this one. Okay, you can see. So this is what we have now. So getting back to the editor, let's try to go back and start styling it. Now, I'm going to call the accordion, and inside the accordion, I'll be targeting the radio sign. And if the radio sign is checked, that is where I want to display that content. So it will be a pseudo selector of checked plus when the label plus the content. So once the label is clicked, the content is going to display. So now let's go to the main content, and inside the content, we'll give it an overflow of hidden, and also we'll give it a mask height of 0. By now, nothing is showing by default until the radio button is clicked. And the radio button will be clicked with the use of the label tag. That is why we call everything here. So once it's checked, I would like to give it a mask height of 300 pixels. 350 pixels. You can see that. So once it's checked, it's going to display 300 pixels. That fourth one is not working. Let's go back and check what is happening in our index. Up is supposed to be 4. Yep. So you can see now it's not working. So this is how it goes. Next, let's go back to our editor there, and I would like to give it some transition effect. So let's go to the main content, and inside the content, we're going to give it a transition. And what we'll be transiting here is the mask height. So for the mask height, we will transit it by 0.5 seconds, and also the padding, we're going to transit it by 0.5 seconds. So it will take some time before it displays on the screen. You can see now, it takes some time, it comes nicely now. Okay. So next, let's go back there. I want to change this to minus whenever it's checked. So let's go back. We'll get the same things. We're going to get the accordion, the radio sign. When the radio sign is checked, we want to talk about the label. So for the label before we give it a plus icon, so now we're going to give it a minus icon. So we're going to say content in its single quote, we're going to say minus. Save the changes, and that is it. So once it's clicked, this is how it's going to happen. You can see that now we have this accordion made using only HTML and CSS. If you find my video helpful, then don't forget to subscribe to my channel, like this video, and share it with your friends. Thank you. See you some other times.